Yeah, it's loading. We've got original sound on. We're ready to rock. Hey, and we're live. We've got a
Hey,
special session today. Roy, tell us what's going on today.
so all right, starting to sound like a ball game. We're Thank you, Laura. So we're going to try to inspire because this is what we do. And let me just shut my thing here. Yes. So
And over to you, Roy.
thank you, Laura. So every one of us got a sample of a funny percussion thing, and the task was just to try to make a vibe or whatever, anything. It can be a beat, it can be a bass line, it can be a track, just whatever. To trying just to show that we can do a lot with little, and we don't need all the samples in the world and all the instruments in the world. So you just had to use this one sample that you could sample with it. You could do all kinds of manipulation with the tools that you already know, that you collected with the time of you using Ableton Live. Okay, so we got stuff from Pedro, from Josh, from Abid, from Marcelo, and David, and some of you guys will come later on, I guess. And that's first thing. Second, all of the tracks and the sessions will be download free on the link that I will give you in the next few minutes. Okay, so we cool. We're starting.
I think there was one more rule, right, Roy? That you cannot use synthesizers, right?
Not to use anything besides the sample.
Right.
Record. You can resample. You can do whatever, just not extra stuff besides the sample.
Oh, we could have resampled.
We could have resampled.
You didn't say that.
But you did good, man. You did good. Let's try that.
Now my project is total shit now. I could have resampled it.
Yeah. So we're starting. Abid, I think you're gonna start.
Sure. Okay. So super inspiring. Let me so let's see. Let me share my screen. Share screen. Well. Where is Ableton Live? I wonder. Sorry, just 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so Roy, I don't think you told everybody what the sample was, so I'm gonna just play it because it was this, right? So that was hilarious. And I think what was really fun for me is I keep going back to this with my students. I tell them all the time that the more constrained you are, the more creative you're going to be. The more infinite the possibilities, the less music you'll make. So I've had challenges with inspiration lately, and this was fantastic to have just one little, what is that, a tom? What was the original sample, Roy? Was that like a little, what is it?
Djembe. It's like
yeah,
African drum, a huge one.
Yeah. So based on that, I just started playing around with it. And should I just play my song in case anybody's not heard it?
Yeah.
Can we hear the original sample?
Yeah, here's the original sample. That was it.
That's fire, bro. That's fire.
Yes, that's amazing.
You want something to be very short and not like a kick, not like a synth, that it will be like not that easy.
Right. Yes. This is the way the world ends, not with a bang, but with a... Okay. All right. So this is what I made with it. Can you guys hear?
Yes.
conga play?
I did. I did want to have that as my ending. So, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
cool.
you're a bit low. You're a bit low though.
Yeah. Let me see what happened here. I wonder. Let me just turn me up here. I don't know what happened here. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep going here. Let me see. I think I'm trying to find my Zoom plugin settings. Oh, here we go. See, this always happens. I don't know why Zoom automatically.
You can turn up the master volume on your project so we can hear you.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe that's it.
Like,
Oh, right. I see what it is. Yeah, that's what it is because I had an automation on my master and that went down. Okay, cool.
yeah.
All right. Sorry about that. Because I have my mic going through Zoom, I'm still working through how to make this quicker and easier. But okay, so I'll make this kind of quick. I spent about maybe a couple hours just going through it and finding inspiration. The hardest part, the parts that are kind of, I'll go through the gratuitous parts, like this one right here. So for me, that felt gratuitous just because I wanted something that was like whiny and almost like, and in fact, there are certain parts of this where I found essentially it's just I'm just finding one thing to oscillate inside a simpler. And then from that, I'm able to make, oops. Right. And then heavily reverbed and EQ'd to kind of give it that whiny pitch sound. And I wanted it to bend. And so I was able to make a synth sound out of it. And what's interesting is that I think, those of us that have done this for a while now, you all know that live simpler and sampler are unbelievably powerful. And they're kind of not just regular samplers. They're basically like oscillator synthesizers in and of themselves. And so you find an oscillator and off you go. But what's interesting is if you play this for people that don't know that, they think you're doing a lot of stuff to create, to go from that little percussion sound to like an almost like a lead. So that to me isn't magic or sorcery. It's just, something that we know how to do and live lets us do. So that was a pretty simple one. The pluck was kind of interesting. I did something similar. I found another kind of buzzy sort of somewhere between a sine and a saw, and it sounds. And then I used an oscillator to work on the filter frequency, and obviously you've got the tuner here to be able to pitch it, because when you're finding oscillators inside your little waveforms, then you have to find the right pitch for it and then tune it inside the simpler controls. Then it's a matter of compressing, overdriving, delaying, compressing again, and more reverb until you get the tone that you want. So there's that one. Okay, and then the pad I think was really interesting, and I enjoyed that a lot. I ended up finding kind of something that had some harmonics, and then it's essentially, and then what I did was I copied it and into a rack, and I panned them hard right and hard left, and then slightly detuned them against each other. So essentially creating subtractive synthesis by using, creating an oscillator out of, or two oscillators out of the sampler patch. And then just a little bit of automation to open the filter up. The bass was kind of cool. I found another kind of, a little more thumpy sound or thumpy oscillator in here, and then I EQ'd it, and then put it through Saturator and compression, and then again, obviously the tuner to find the right one, and then add a little bit of delay, so that gave us the nice thumpy bass sound. The drums I think were the hardest and most challenging, and that's kind of where I started with it. So classic use of kick to, so I'll play it for you guys. So what I did was, I've got a click and a bottom. So the click basically is and then the low end bottom is. And I think that bottom was the hardest for me to find. It's the same sample. Well, the bottom is actually more the sine part of the waveform, and then the click is the front part, and which is kind of buzzy. And so I was able to use that noise, and then taking that low end sine wave and essentially running it through a pitch envelope that gives you that kick sound. And then EQ, and then of course putting a drum bus behind all of the drums to make it a lot fatter. And this is with and without the drum bus. And I tell everybody that I speak to that drum bus alone is probably worth the price of the upgrade to Live 10. So let's see, what else did I do with this? I think the hardest part for me was finding the snare because it was such a short sample, and I didn't want to just use the sample and then obviously, you know, I didn't resample it because apparently I didn't follow the instructions. But but I did grab the kind of front part of it, which has some noise, but then I needed to give it a little bit of sustain, so I ran it through a resonator, and so then So I run a very short noise. So without the resonator, this is what the snare sounds like. Oh, wait. Yeah, you barely even hear it. So let me see if I can just trigger the snare sound. But once you turn the resonator on, it can give you quite a bit of added sustain. And if I turn the distortions and erosion off, you can hear what the resonator sustain sounds like. So it gives you a little bit more of a pluck, and then once you distort it, and I downsample, I use bit reduction, and I downsampled it to give it kind of a more 80s bit noise, and then adding erosion to it added more noise. And once you got through that, then you compress it and EQ it, and then saturate that some more, and then put a little reverb on it, and that gives you that that reverb snare sound. The open hats were pretty simple. It's just, again, taking a bit of the noise and running it through some distortions. The closed hat was taking that and EQing it to give it some high end, to give it some air. And then I would say this is the closest I got to. This is just the tom sample. It's almost the whole sample, but made into a pluck, and then tuned so that you have they're off by about a third, and so you get the nice kind of little melodic perks in there. And that's about it. So, and then I've got the bass line side chained with the kick of the drums. And yeah, it all came together for a nice little fun piece. So that's it for me.
Hey, woo!
Thank you. Thank you.
Nah, it's crap, as you said.
Yes. Can we also have a laugh track? I missed those.
And the Seinfeld
You don't need one because
Right. And then the Seinfeld bass, right, Josh?
Great work, man.
Thank you. That was really fun.
Cool.
Thank you for doing that. I
Good
appreciate
work.
it.
nice. Fire, straight fire.
I think I was amazed how many sounds you created out of this shitty perk. It was really like a poem. I was looking for the shortest, uninspirational, dark, low with nothing on it, really.
Because you're mean, that's why.
No, man, come on. I was like, I wanted to show that it's not easy. It's not easy, and yet it can sound beautiful. And it sounded really, really, really beautiful. And I think one of the things I like the most is the synth parts that you made out of it. Of course, it's loops, but it still it sounded like a synth. It's respect, Abin. Okay.
Thank you.
So,
Awesome. Yeah, and the melodics, they synth there. It sounded really cool, like this happy vibe. It sounded tight.
Well, as I mentioned in my post, I did this after literally spending the whole day outside in like 75-degree temperature, which here in Louisiana, that's going to last
You were
another
serious
week.
about
Okay.
it. You were serious about it. I thought you were laughing.
Oh, no. We were sitting outside, like drinking wine and just, being outside in this beautiful weather, which here, I mean, the temperature here turns so fast. It's going to be hot and sticky and humid for the next 4 months. So we got some really nice, those of you that are out in California take this for granted, but we got some really lovely weather, spent the whole day outside. And then I got back and I was like, what can I make out of this little sample? and I had a happy vibe. So,
Respect. It sounded good.
Thank you.
Good. So I will just mention that this session with the MP3 and all of the sessions of the trainers that took part in this will be online on our website. And I'm just gonna give the link maybe here in the chat, and you guys can share it on your channels. Check it out. So it's going to be like a SoundCloud link. It's in the website actually. SoundCloud link with a link to the session, so everyone can download it and mess around and see the wonders that you did with this shitty boop. Cool. So who's next?
I want to hear Marcelo's explanation, because that version that he did was great, especially that awesome drum and bass bass line in there.
Sure. Back to you, Marcello.
All right. I'm not in my studio at the moment. I'll see if I can play through the mobile. But what I did, let me explain quickly.
Or maybe Roy can play it.
I just did.
I mean, maybe Roy can play it for you.
Maybe Roy can play it, yeah.
I can try to play it. Can you
Yeah,
first
that'd be great.
Can you first say how it's called? What's the name?
Okay, yeah. It's in the link in the CT group on the SoundCloud. Maybe you can play it. What I did was, in fact, I started by the bass, and it was quite of a happy accident. So I was just playing about with the sample, see what I could do with it, and it just happened to kind of playing the low frequencies and see just tune it, and obviously found what note it was, which I can't remember now, but it was then it came up by accident with a sort of pattern on the bass, and I was like, that's interesting, and it kind of reminded me of like a full-on techno thing, it reminded me of Berlin and all that. I was like, okay, let's try and go this way. And as ever, I'm always trying to stick some Brazilian rhythm into it, and I was just using sort of arpeggiators and just playing about with the sound, and then I came up with this kind of percussive sound that goes ta ta pa 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 pa, and then I started to using delays on it, and it created another completely different rhythm. The hi-hat, I just did a very short sound of it and just pitching up, so we had a hi-hat, and that was the vibe. I was trying to reach like a club vibe with it. Hope you guys enjoy it.
Well, I'm gonna play for you guys. So,
I missed the club.
and the name of
Hit
it.
me, DJ.
You didn't say the name of the track.
It's a queer. The name is Queer and Techno.
Quarant Techno, you guys. There you go.
We're all raving in our houses right now.
Let's see if we hear it. I'm gonna try to play it with a loop back. Hear it?
It cut out here.
Mm-hmm.
Can hear it.
Yes, this is the worst club
It's
ever.
very low.
Grand opening.
Roll the
Is that a
DJ.
John Cage reference?
DJ.
Then that will be the best chance, Laura, to
Sorry.
say world to our sponsor. No, just to say that you can hear everything on the SoundCloud. Let me just put the link to the techno.
I put the link in the chat.
Put the link in the chat, Laura. You're speed as a mouse. Speedy as a mouse. Cool. So,
I've been told.
who's next? Marcelo, you have the right to choose the next one because you are the last one.
Yeah, I can go next. Sure.
Wait, what happened
Yeah,
to the
Pedro,
sound?
off
Is
you
it
go.
over?
Yeah, what happened to the song?
It was a really quick.
Yeah,
Guys,
Yeah,
you know,
what happened to the music?
We want the song.
I'm gonna listen
We
to it.
want-
Let's.
We need to rave out right now.
I think the sound in my end is not the best. Maybe
All right, why don't I get it and I'll play it? How's that?
Abit, please.
Cool.
Please.
Okay, hold on.
Go
Let
for
me
it.
see. Oh shit.
I was like, okay, this is dirty. Like, when it first started, I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, wait, hold on. It definitely sounded fire, though, from like.
Here we go. Who's playing that?
Is it good?
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah, man. What a track. What a track.
Nicely done.
That was brutal.
Straight
Really.
fire.
Hey, this is the best
Damn.
I heard
How'd you
on-
make
That was
the
nasty, nasty,
how did you
man,
make that
nasty.
hi-hat? How did you make that hi-hat? The open the it was so
The
it was so-
hi-hat, I just like shortened up the sound as much as I could. And then I took a little bit off the attack. So instead of going, it gets a little bit of the chick kind of sound. So I got rid of a little bit of the attack and just raised the tuning of the sample way up.
Yeah.
And used the filter to get, the most of the high end. And that was it.
Good work.
And
Good.
thank you. And the kick drum was kind of
Good.
hard as well to find the attack and the release, right? The kick was the hardest, likewise, but that's it. Let's go clubbing.
yeah.
Awesome,
Did you
man.
use a lot of
Missed the
frequency
club.
shifter too?
Oh wait, go ahead. Was that Josh?
I was just saying, did you use a lot of frequency shifter as well?
Yeah, I used a lot of frequency shifter, and the pad sound I was using something from Max. That is the I forgot the name now. It's the one that picks up the harmonics and goes on changing it, because I'm not in front of the computer now, so I'm very bad at plugins names. I just know how they look like, and it was really good fun to come up with, because then you can just making the sounds as long as possible and then making it modulate as much as possible and just go up until you're happy with it. It's kind of, I didn't have much of a goal other than create a pad, and then you just go on trying things. That's sometimes, if it's a free briefing, I just go, trying stuff out until I'm happy with it. And then that kind of made me really happy though. So really cool.
I
Thank
got to
you,
tell you,
guys.
yeah, it was fantastic. I got to tell you, I absolutely love the cytomic filter models that are inside sampler now, and they put it in, operator and all that. I mean, it gives you such a richer tone, and especially when you drive it and you crank up those filter models in there, and it gives you. So I don't know if did you use any of that? Because I use that extensively in mine to get like a fatter tone out of it, especially the warm pads and stuff like that. Did you use a lot of that?
I did. Yeah, I did some of that. Yeah, in sampler, I used samplers and samplers in the mix and match of, anytime I thought I would need a more complex sound, I would go sampler. Anytime I think I would go, and I set up a goal of doing as quick as I could. For some reason, I had this dogma in my head. I had to, see how quick I can do this. So it took me like 1 hour to come up with the sounds, and then another half hour to put the structure on. And I think it could work more on the transitions of parts, but I just wanted to have it up and running. That's it.
And I wanted to.
But I did use some of.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You can finish
Go
up.
on.
I just wanted to.
No, that's it.
Just wanted to ask everyone, what will be the device in Ableton that you absolutely cannot live without? If you could have choose one, just one.
I mean,
would that be?
well, we should probably take EQ and compression out of that
EQ8.
list, right? Like, yeah, you gotta have that. But if it was a more interesting answer, then it would have to be drum bus for me. But
Okay.
can't live without drum bus.
Marcelo?
You said
You?
effect?
I can't live without. It's just effects or anything.
Whatever. It can also be Max.
I think I can't live without sampler.
Mm-hmm.
Sampler,
Yeah.
I guess. That's something that you could do a whole song like we just did, and even without EQ, you could come up with some stuff. So that would be the one.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
me it would be
Same.
simple delay.
Yeah.
Like
One.
always, you just add delays and it's gonna sound good. So
Everything is good with
Hot
delay.
tip.
Everything is good with delays. If you get it right, yeah,
It's the new 80s reverb.
Mm-hmm.
exactly. And yeah, so you can come to my track. You're gonna hear lots of delays, tons of delays.
Yes.
Yes.
I just
Let me
said it
start.
that I think I could not live without auto filter. That we're doing.
Oh yeah. Please go on, you guys.
Pedro, I'm sorry. But
Yeah. Sorry.
you already said delay, but I think the new one or the echo, they are very, very different. I mean,
I love the echo. It's awesome. Yeah, just go around the. Who's next about telling their favorite one?
I guess the EQ8, if I can say. Oh, auto filter also is my favorite. No.
For sure.
For me, actually, from the synthesizer list, my go-to is operator, and I just miss it quite a bit.
I came to be very, very tight with analog because it's the first one. So you just look for something in a lesson. You just want sound of synth, and it's the first one. So I'm using it really, really a lot, and I became to be quite good in it, and it's quite great. And it's not really a synth; it's actually a physical modeling. It's not a synth per se, like operator is. It's quite an interesting thing that they chose to do it like that.
Well, I used operator in the live set that I built, and actually I just gave it a dedicated track and just mapped a few parameters so that you basically can use a single operator instance, but for every track, change the character just a little bit, giving it a bit of life without having to make a preset for every single track. So you have like a sub bass that goes along with basically anything. You just have to tweak a little bit and you can get really cool sounds from it. So that's why I really use it quite a bit.
I think our next challenge will be make a track with operator. You can only use that. You have to do all your drums and
you can make drum operator.
Come on, that's too easy. That's too easy. We need more restrictions.
But the next restriction is no effects. No effects, only operator.
All right. No. Operator only, no effects.
No filter. No filter.
No, wait, come on, Josh. There goes Josh being unreasonable.
No computer.
No
Josh,
presets.
no filter.
No computer. That's it. No computer. Operator only.
Just your mouth.
No computer.
And no mouse as well.
Right.
You have to build your own hardware version there.
Yeah, but no presets. That we can do that.
Raspberry Pi only.
Mm-hmm.
Who's next?
Who's next?
Who's next?
I guess I can go next.
Wait,
Josh.
Wait, when we're gonna? Yeah, okay. I thought Pedro was gonna go next, but all right.
Whatever.
It's Pedro.
Roy was like, nope.
Yeah, well, I can go. Sure.
Yeah, you go because I forgot I had to reopen live because I changed.
I'm gone. So, can you see my screen all right?
Yep.
All right, let's play it.
Oh my gosh,
It.
big fire.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
I love
you.
that lead at the end too. Got really funky. It was fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
What's the pink track that says
And
one?
the drops also super nice, man.
What's what? Which track?
The pink track that says one. It's like the samples cut up and you.
Oh.
Something.
I think this is a. Oh, just
No,
one?
no,
Okay.
the one on two under it.
Yeah, like this one.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I resample most of the drums and then I just cut it and duplicate it and made some rhythm patterns. Yeah, so I don't even know where to start here. So I guess I started, I guess 9% is a sampler here, and then I just flipped this with the result of the sampler into something else. So I just started up here, and then started adding some effects. I guess I found a bass sound, something that looked like a bass sound. So I got this here. It sounded like nice and heavy. And I also got, from that, I added some effects and I got this. So look, I use compression, EQ, and an OTT, so I can get like just that part of the noise that was behind the bass and get that like just sequencer, arpeggiator type. And I think from that, I got this white noise stutter like sound. And it was quite hard for me to find like a good sounding kick drum and snare. It was like challenging. And meanwhile, I was looking for the drums. I found this like stomp feel, which I like. So I had some interesting delays to it. And after I actually find something that I could use as a kick, maybe a snare, with a good amount of reverb. What else I got here? And yeah, I also made some percussions. They're kind of similar to the original samples, somewhat. So I had some grain delay, make it sound a little bit different. And I also made an arpeggiator. Sounds like that. So I think that came from the tone feel as well. So I kind of changed it a little bit more and it became this more melodic arpeggiator. And from that, somehow I got this, which I really love. And then I was looking for like more melodic stuff that I could add into it. And I found this sound that kind of sounded to me like a Rhodes, like a really fucked up Rhodes electric piano. Maybe I should display it. So I did some soloing, some playing of harmonies and melodies. I really like that. And yeah, I think that's about it. So as for my workflow, I started here in session view and I did a bunch of things, and then I organize stuff in scenes. So I got like a scene for the intro, and then the bass coming up. So I kind of organize it in moods, in vibes, and then I record all that into arrangement view, and then added more stuff, did some breaks and transitions. I think Christian said he liked there's a break somewhere here. Let me find it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so I use the pitch drop to make this quick little yeah. I like to do that a lot. And here there's another thing that I really like how it sounds, but I don't know if it's by the rules because I use wavetable. Are we allowed, right?
Close that project now. Get out of the room.
But it sounds so good. I mean, I really want to use this sample, this instrument. It's saved. It's saved now.
Out of the room, please.
At least he's coming clean about it.
So this is how it's going to be.
Yeah, so I really love that pad, and I also use it here for some harmonies. But anyway, I broke the rules, so sorry. And yeah,
Qualified. You don't
I
win.
mean, I don't. Can you guys hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as bad as Lance Armstrong cheating in the Tour de France, but
It's as bad as Pete Rose though.
but look, I mean, how's think about it. He popped the sample. Did you pop the sample into Wavetable?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you picked a little slice, right? How's that any different from putting it into the simpler, right? So,
exactly. That's what I thought.
I mean, you're still disqualified, but it's not that.
Great,
anyway,
bro.
Cool.
Nice, bro.
Nicely done. Very nicely done.
It was
Thanks,
so cool,
guys.
man.
You have to play sound effects for yourself now.
Oh yeah. Where are my sound effects? Come on.
Air horn.
I deserve some.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, man.
Yeah.
All right. So Josh is next, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
What happened?
Can we hear?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Why can't I hear? Oh yeah, here we go. Gotta share my screen. Sorry, yawning. Still waking up. I've done 1 million shares and I keep forgetting to hit the share sound,
I like the bird sound.
which should be a louder. Oh yeah. Share sound button should be bigger. All right, here we go. So yeah, I made this. I woke up at like 6 a.m. sort of sleepy and was like, let me just keep it simple and kind of do a little something. All right. Cool.
All right.
So
Nice.
Oh my god, that sounds amazing.
Fire! Pew, pew, pew.
yeah, so what did I do here? I was barely remembering because I was half asleep. So yeah, I think I started with the kick drum, and I usually do not do all the drums separately. But since I was going to be manipulating them so much, I just figured I would just do that. It would be a lot easier. Yeah, I think the kick is just straight up pitched, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I just pitched it down. Yeah, I just went down to C1. It kicked it up for me. Then the snare is, I just moved the start, added some erosion on it, bit reduction, and EQ'd it. So then that's how I got that kind of metal snare sound, that Saint Anger type vibe. And then this is just providing noise. It's essentially the same thing. I made a bunch of different versions of stuff, just making it, and then picked what I liked. And then the hats, I think similar thing, but it's pitched. It's just pitching up. So I'm up in the 6 area doing the hats. And then the clap is high up too. And then I added some reverb on there. So yeah, most of these are kind of just different pitches of the same thing. Let's see, this bell. Oh yeah, so this is Arpeggiator. And then it's panning, and it's just a small little slice here. And then it's just holding the notes that are being played throughout most of the song. And yeah, and then this is, I just stretched it. So I put on warp complex and then stretched it as far as it would go. And then threw the echo on there. So I got like a gamelan type situation going on there. And then the bass is, so I resampled it, and then just threw it in there, resampled. And then I put some, like Abed was saying, I put some drive on there to kind of dirty it up a little bit. And what other junk is in here? I think that's it. And then, yeah, and then I got the beat repeat on there for the end. Slate virtual tape machine, which I almost put on everything to kind of smooth it up, bring out some mids and stuff. I'm lazy, so lately to get stuff done quick, I've been using Isotope 9. Actually, that's 6's Imager, but I use Isotope 9 Elements because it was free on Sweetwater, so I don't have to master it. I let it do it, and if there's any tweaks I need to do, I just do it. But if not, I just let it go, because that's where I end up screwing up and spending too much time and not getting songs finished. So I think that's it, if that's right.
Good work.
Cool.
Josh,
Nice.
what was the thing you said you use on everything that brings out the mids? What was that? You went through it kind of quickly.
The Slate virtual tape machine.
Okay.
So it's I could bring that up. So yeah, it's this guy. So like if I play, you may not be able to tell through here if I. You may not be able to tell, but yeah, it just adds a little bit of sweetness. It's like the only plug-in.
Yeah, I thought that I thought your bass was, because I know how much you love your Moog, and so I thought that your bass was very much like some of the stuff you put on your Moog, and so I was wondering how you got that very warm sound out of the sample. So I was wondering if that was the trick.
I think that's part of it. Like, yeah, it definitely sounds a lot better saturated. Like with it on there, it still sounds good with it out, but with that on there, for sure, it helps.
Dude, this bass sounds real fat, man.
I love that bass. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
awesome,
I was very
awesome.
surprised by it.
Super good, man.
That was
Wow.
dope. I like the gamelan sound.
Yeah, me too.
Awesome.
Right.
Yeah, the stretch is awesome.
Is this Slate plugin? Is that like a monthly subscription or?
That one I won in a contest, so I have that one outright, and then I have the bus compressors outright, and then I have the Slate bundle too.
Oh, okay.
But I hate iLock, so I use it sometimes, and a lot of times I should use it way more for what I'm paying for.
Yeah.
So
cool.
I really hate subscription.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like marriage.
Yeah. This might be my last year, but we'll see.
Okay, cool. Who's next? Melanie. What's up? Say hello to Melanie.
Hey, hi.
Hey.
Nice to meet you guys.
Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you.
You got the award for downloading all the packs.
Yeah, I did it. It was just to have all the respect from Dennis.
Right.
That's it.
So you're the reason why everybody's internet is slow now. So.
Oh yeah? No. I'm really happy to see you guys in real, almost
welcome.
Real.
We too.
Touch the screen.
The party.
Yeah. Do I share my screen?
If you can, yeah, please share your screen.
Yeah,
show
sure.
Your set.
So, and I missed the beginning. So the thing is, I have to make you hear what I've done. Are you guys here? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Nice.
Very nice. Congratulations.
Really, really nice.
Okay, I had to.
Yeah. I
Thank you,
forgot
guys.
that was
Right.
using just the one sample.
Oh yeah, it was the challenge, but sorry.
Oh no, was I guess Marcelo.
Okay. So I don't know where to start. Well, I think I've started by throwing a lot of the IRCAMax pack plugins into a track. The thing I like to do when I'm researching sounds is to play with them live, kind of. So to go fast, I use a little Max for Live device made by a colleague of us. I don't remember his name. I have it here. It's sorry. It's
His website is forlive.me.
Yes, exactly. So it's the device called 1.2, and it's really practical because you have one knob mapped to it, and then each time you go to one knob, it's automatically mapped to this, so I can play live without doing some fancy mapping, and it saves some time. So I use this, and I just like randomly through the freezer, the grain delay, the psych harmonizer, and I was just playing around while I was recording. So it's a lot of the little sounds you heard, a kind of stereo in the song, a few melodies. I think I have a part called noise here, and so all the grainy sounds, a bit like, oh, not this one, that's the other one. So it's made with this pack, and I think this one is made with the grain delay. It's a bit the same technique. No, it's the grain scanner. Sorry, with a lot of MIDI devices from the probability pack, which is one of my go-to pack, and so it makes some little melody kind of. And after this, I love playing with the beat algorithm for the warping. And this is on Preserve 116, and I like to tied up, sorry for my English, the sound a bit. And for the rest, it's pretty more what you guys just showed. I mean, for the kick, it's the same sample which has transposed, like Josh, I guess, was 2 octaves down, but I made it in the simpler directly to give it more weight, if I can say this. I just resample it and pitch down 12 semitones, 1 octave down. It's like this. That's the single kick.
Sounds super good.
Awesome. Sounds awesome.
Cool. I think I'm gonna keep it actually.
Yeah.
And the other one, it's not that interesting alone, but when you mix them together, it bring more weight to it. I had super fun with the snare actually. So it sounds a bit like this. Oops. Oh yeah, I think I made a lot of FM synthesis on this with the sampler. And for the other one, I had some noise made by all the random plugins I have made, and I just use a gate triggered by the other snares, so it gives you a sound like this with the 2 of them. It had a bit of air, so the drum. Yeah, I had pretty straightforward sampler transposed with a high pass filter. For the perks, I like those one. It's the same technique. The things I was resampling, I just cut a little part like this, which I cut to go to the kick. My bongos, I think it's the same with the grain delay and the psych harmonizer from IRCAM Max. And resonator to have a note and a bit repeat to have some random inside. And I think the bell, I don't remember everything. Yeah, it's a tiny part of all the resampling. I don't know, I had like 10 minutes of recording, so I didn't have the time to really go through everything, but a sub bass, which I made by taking a very few, very, very tiny part of a resampling, like this. And the other bass, I think it's 1 or 2 cycles of the sample, the watt sample. That's it. That's pretty much it. For the melody, it's the same. I took like shorter. It's really like 1 cycle of a waveform, and that's it. For the melody, it's coming. And the same I took for the chords, but maybe different effects. And I think I like to do is to double my chords, 1 octave higher, but really less loud, like it's minus 20 dB here, but to play with the delay on the track, so to have a more full sound and more airy sound. So I calculate the delay with my calculator actually, and just to have a few and to stay in time with the groove. And last thing is for the pad, I don't know if I've been cheating a bit, but I took the watt sample, but I turned the volume down, all the way down, and then freeze and flatten it, and then throw it into the sampler, the simpler. So basically it's a silent sample there, but I've generated sound by changing the filter here for the MS-20 and play with the drive and the resonance, so it creates sound by itself. Is it cheating?
No, it's called hacking. You actually hacked the rules. That's even better.
So it's the same sample but without sound actually.
Yes.
I give
That's the Star Trek Kobayashi Maru. You cheated on the rules and won. That's good.
Okay, so it gives a pad like this, pretty
very nice,
straightforward.
So this is the self-oscillating aspect of the MS-20 filter that you use, right? Basically.
Exactly.
So you get that by cranking the res way up and then the drive up, and then it'll follow your notes, correct?
Actually, yeah, you have to choose really precisely the frequency of the filter, because it's gonna be the note. So here it's 262 hertz, and it's a C, actually. So
but can't you key follow that? Can't you? I think you might be able.
Oh yeah, you can play it. I mean, if I play it,
yeah,
I have a C there.
Mm-hmm. Right, but if the frequency is set to 262, that's I think a C1 or something like that, right? And then and then when you do whatever notes you play, it'll be in tune, right? That's
exactly.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, cool, really cool.
Well, that's it.
Smarty pants. That was good. That was very good.
That was really cool.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
And the
now
mixing.
I see why you downloaded everything on the
amazing.
Yeah. Actually, I don't use all of them, and I had to put them on another hard drive. But yeah, I mean, I have more time actually, so I think like all of us, and so I try to explore them. But the IRCAM Max are really amazing to make some research, trying new things.
I think
That
now
would
I
be
know
good.
why your session was 380 megabytes.
The well, she's trying to take down the internet. We already established this, right? No, I'll tell you, this is my feeling about doing this kind of process with all of you really, really smart and capable people, is that on one hand, it's both like straight up admiration of the things you're able to accomplish, and then swiftly followed by, well, shit, I should have thought of that. You know what I mean? So this is awesome. You guys are awesome.
I guess it's good because you know that you can do it.
Right.
You're in a good point. Like, not like, how do I do that? It's like, I can do it. I should have done it. Why didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
That's the nice thing. I think you can even learn from someone who's using Live for a year, just looking at the workflow, because people are so different. And even if it's the same software, it's the same tools. Actually, my intention in the challenge, I don't think I mentioned it enough, was to use only Live tools, because once we export it to the users, they need to open it and they need to achieve this sound.
Oh, I didn't got that part.
It's a great track, really. You did
it was
good.
really nice.
That was so awesome.
Hey, thank you guys.
Melanie,
Very,
what
very
was the
nice.
pack that you said that you use over and over? I think it was when you were talking about grain scanner.
Grain scanner, I don't remember the name of the pack, but it's the probability pack.
Probability pack. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I had some to create some
Yeah.
random melodies, or even for drums. It's awesome.
Yeah, Grain Scanner has its own pack, right? That's
I think so.
That just came out about a month or two ago, and
The
it's pretty
amazing
awesome.
noises.
Yeah, that's pretty excellent. It's basically taking the Granulator 2 and putting it on steroids. It's
Can you input audio in real time, like Granulator 2?
I don't think so. No, Grain Scanner, you have to dump a sample onto it. I don't think it's in real time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what the thing that I love about Granulator 2.
Oh, there's a lot to love about Granulator 2.
Yeah.
The spray is my favorite knob on that.
Yeah.
It's really nice. It's cool.
Yeah.
Guys, I actually have to get going. So is there anybody else who's going to go? I don't want to miss out on anything. So,
That would be me then.
which one? Who's the Roy?
Both of us.
David.
Yeah, David.
Okay, then I'm sticking around for that. I don't want to miss any of them.
David, do you want to start or should I?
No, I can go.
Go.
I got really nervous now after watching your.
Wait, where's your background?
Oh, sorry. Should I?
Yes, keep your background.
Should I go back to
Yes.
the roots now? Should I? Well, I made mine in ProTracker. Well, that would be something.
Immediate disqualification.
That would be no. I'll just remove that. I seriously got nervous now, but I will do my best. Let me share my screen and sound. So this one's mine. I just want to check if you get any sound.
Yep.
Yeah, great. When I first started, I did the same way you did. Like started building some drums and whatnot. And when I were to build my first instrument or tonal instrument, I think it was the bass, I zoomed in on the on the wave and found the beginning of the sample, and I thought the first part was the most interesting part, with the actual attack of this djembe, the palm of the hand hitting the drum. So I had an idea, wouldn't it be cool if this was also the melody of my track? So I started extracting the notes. What should I say? I redid it. I extracted the values of the samples and turned them into MIDI notes. And well, maybe I should play my track. Well, it's not a track. It's 8 bars of things, and then I can show you what it is. Let me just play this. There you have it. That was a bit weird, I think, but that's because everything is made out of the waveform. So I started out making a Max for Live device that put the sample in a buffer and peaked at the first 128 values and made that into 8 bars of 16th notes. So that would be something like this. Just a moment. Do you also have twice sound, or is just me on my end? Does it sound brrrr? No.
No, it sounds good here.
Oh. Okay, that's just my routing thingy. Never mind, I know what it should sound like, so I go right back. But then I realized the djembe, as it is tuned in C. So wouldn't it be cool if everything I did was in C? So I did some math, and now it's not the first 128 samples of the sample. It's actually the first wavelength of C3, which would be 3.822 milliseconds divided in 128 steps. So the melody over 8 bars is one wavelength of that same C. I thought that was an interesting idea. Divided into these 128 16th notes. To do the drums, let me see. Then I took the wavelength of C minus 1, which then would be 61 and a bit milliseconds. And the drums are generated by every time the waveform passes zero crossing. It plays either a kick or a snare. And since I've set the tempo so that the whole 8 bars would be in time the wavelength of, what was it, C minus 9 or something like that. So the 8 bars in itself is also the wavelength of C. And this would be, well, that would end up being a steady beat, I thought, with kick and snare. But since the wave isn't, it's not perfect, it's not a perfect sine wave. Oh, now I'm scrolling weird again. That is what causes the drums not to end up exactly. If I do like this, let's just, so you see what's happening. Let's just record the drums. It's not the tightest drummer in the universe, but it should end up fine in the end. Yes, and there we're back. So it overall over 8 bars, it's yes, it's a C. It's still a C. The hi-hats are just wait, there I am. No, where did my Max for Live go? Well, the hi-hats is just playing together with the kick and snare, and then another one delayed 1/8 note. So it's no more. The bass, then I just send where the kick sends a bang to another Max for Live device on the bass, and it receives the current note from the melody and turns that into a quarter note. I think, yeah, a quarter note. And this little thing moves all the notes, so no matter where the melody is playing, it moves every note into the octave of that one. Yes, so that's the octave that the bass should play. So no matter where the incoming note comes from, what octave it's in. It moves it to that one. The sound design you have covered so nicely, so I just skipped that. And I haven't, I got sort of stuck in this thingy, I think. The chords receives the kick and the snare, and this one, it also receives, now let's see, I have to think. It's the device on the drum rack that measures how high or low the peak was before it crossed the zero crossing, so it generated the drum. And depending on how much, how high or low it was, it plays either one chord, or if it's a little bit high, it plays two chords on 8 notes, and if it was really high, then it plays 3 16 notes or chords. So if we look at that one, chords, just to see what happens. In the beginning of the sample, the wave goes very high, and as it moves along, it gets faded out, so the chords get fewer. And then it starts over, and something happens at the very beginning here that it would be nice to have a lot of chords there, but what the heck. And the last one is just this one measures in what direction the wave is going, and each one of these is reading the wave at sort of different speeds, but all sections read are wavelengths of C, so everything in the song is C. Now let's see. Pun not intended. Let's it picks a note from the bass, and if it's going upward, it plays the chord downwards and up, and if it's going down, it plays it in the other direction. So it follows the direction of the wavelength. So it would be really nice to, then Max crashed for me. It would be real nice to turn this into a full song, but that would demand some thinking, I believe. I was thinking along the lines that what if the waveform also could control like mixing or arranging, or I don't know. I have to stop my sharing to see your faces. It would be really sweet to make a, I don't know how I got lost into this. If I make a Max for Live device that you feed a sample through and it creates a track, how would that be? Just a thought. I don't know. Well, I thought it would be quite cool if everything was that same sample. Sounds a bit weird, but well, hey, let's just do it one more time and see where it takes us. Yeah, and the velocity of the melody is now let's see. Yeah, it's the position of the waveform, but played 8 times faster. And there it starts. So there's your sample. There's the djembe sample for you, but in MIDI notes. Well, thank you.
Oh my God.
Where is the horn?
Oh yeah.
Listen.
I
now completely understand why you were nervous, because everybody knows this would have been much better in G, not C.
Yeah, sorry.
So what kind of hack are you? Like, wow, this is fantastic. Well done.
I feel like I was at a NASA meeting and I was just like, oh yeah, rockets. I know rockets.
Should have seen the chat.
This is a
going
proper
off.
master.
We're all just
Well,
like, we're unworthy, David.
Oh yeah. What's
To think you were
what's
nervous.
happening? Oh damn! What's happening?
He should have said, I'm nervous right now because I'm gonna make all of you feel really stupid in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, that was not the intention. I thought I really
David a Borg.
Borg. Okay.
You just confirmed it.
I'm really amused with this. Some people call me stupid, but I take that as a compliment because I think it's nice to break yourself free from how you usually make music. So sometimes you seriously can't make I don't know, but doing stuff like this isn't the goal for me. Isn't to get a finished good sounding track. It's because it would create something that my normal brain wouldn't create. Do you get where I'm going?
Yeah.
Like getting a stupid idea, making a Max for Live device, extracting a melody. Maybe that melody is something really cool, and then I can go on producing a finished track.
Well, I think that drum patch was really, or the way it was generating the drum pattern was a really great example because, once you get past a couple of bars, it starts going off time and then it kind of syncs back up again. And like, I wouldn't have thought about that. You know what I mean? So that was really cool the way you were able to use those frequencies to generate them. That was excellent.
Yeah, it's a great example that even if we perceive it as a C, it's a living instrument. So the pitch isn't a straight line. The pitch goes something like this, and that's what makes it pleasant to our ears. But taking the speed of the way down to like this drum rhythm, then it becomes audible or something. It's not tight anymore. But it's, I don't know, it's kind of cool idea. And it struck when I was doing it, I came to think about Adam Neal's great talk at Loop the other year about polyrhythms that ended up connecting rhythms to notes to colors in the end and art. And that wouldn't it be cool if everything in my song went in the same key, even the tempo? So the tempo is in C this time. I don't know. Math-wise, I think I should have C major. Now it's C minor. I don't know. I think C major would be even more mathematically correct, but well.
Disqualify this dude. Sorry, David.
And David, how long did it took to make all that?
I don't know, but
don't say 20 minutes.
No,
please.
20 minutes.
Just don't say it. Don't say it at all.
Okay. If I 20 minutes
I
of
was
sections here and there, like 6, 7, like
I was changing my baby while working on this.
Yeah, I was doing it with my left hand at the same time as well. No, I have really no idea. It's in the laptop, and now I got 5 minutes. I open it up and I do something little, and then I go do the dishes and think about it. And what if I do this? And then back and patch some more and whatnot. But it's not. It's really interesting. I don't think people see. Let me just share one more time. When you use Max for Live for yourself, the patches. See if my Max will start up again. Something in this makes it crash. The editor crashes, not the devices, but the editor crashes for me sometimes. Oh, sorry. No, please. Like this. Then I can't show you. Something happens with my devices in this. Usually, the Max for Live devices you download are really tidy and neat looking and whatnot. But when you use it just for yourself, it gets messy, like your own. If you have your own studio where, like mine, where no one else is, there are cables everywhere and some coffee cups and whatever. And Max for Live devices can look like that as well. So I didn't tidy them up before I sent up the project. I thought people
show them to us. Show them.
Yeah, but I did do comments on them like you
You'll
saw,
understand them,
so
don't
people can
worry.
understand what I'm doing. Yeah.
Cool.
David,
we need to sound it more sound effects.
oh, I don't have a sound effect for that.
It's
I
too
don't have
fire.
Yeah, but David, I have to confess, I'm scared now, because if we feed Spotify into a neural network and we use your Max for Live device, does it mean that we're out of our jobs? So music is going to be produced by itself, by computers? Is that it?
Just feed Duke Ellington into the thing.
Yeah, man.
One note of a trumpet, and out comes Splanky. Well, I don't think so, because but it's interesting to experiment with the physics of music as well, I think, and because like Adam Neal talks about, rhythm and sound are the same and whatever, but well, I'm crazy and I love thinking about these things, so thank you.
That was awesome.
Awesome, man.
Fantastic.
The other cool thing about the drum part, it sounded like a drummer who kept messing with the accent and kept moving it around on the band.
It was really cool when I first made one of these devices. I did exactly that. I recorded the output to a MIDI track to see what happened, it was really cool for the first time to see everything, like seeing the waveform as MIDI notes and seeing the intensity of the sample as more or fewer of the chords and whatever. It was a really interesting experiment.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll continue to think about this one.
Do you take like a lot of omega 3s and 6, or like what's your secret?
No, I'm just stupid.
He's a Borg. He's a Borg. He's not human. No way. He's a human.
Righty.
Respect, David.
Yep.
So is it,
Yeah, respect.
That was awesome.
Yeah, well done, man.
So,
All right. So
we
who's going next? Because I know you're actually nervous this time.
Last but not least is Roy.
Yes.
yeah, we also got Richard here, who came late to the party. Hey, Richard.
Hey.
What's up, guys?
So I'm gonna do mine really quick, because actually I put myself into the stress yesterday of because it was I think
You were just late. Come on.
and I was like, okay, it's 8, I need to do it. Maybe let's do it online and stream it while I'm doing it. So I made like a stream, and I thought, okay, maybe it will be like I don't know, like a half an hour thing where I'm just screwing stuff up, doing like a Mr. Bill type of shitload of resampling stuff, and then like chopping it, and then it was like 3.5 hours, which is now online on the page. I can share
Wait,
it.
link us to this.
Dude, it was 3.5 hours. And
I
I was
definitely have 3.5 hours to watch that.
like, man, 3.5. And in the end, I'm like giving the session and everything. And so you can really see the process of me messing stuff up there.
Where were you streaming this?
On the link which I'll give you right now. I can just
What
find it.
platform?
Our page, the page of our school, Drumlet Productions.
Oh, okay. Nice.
It was like a spontaneous thing yesterday, and I was like 3.5 hours into it. And I was explaining a bit while I was doing it, what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and the sense of the stuff that I'm doing. Because it was like a lesson for me, like doing a lesson. But it was quite different than sitting alone in your studio and just doing stuff. Because you're feeling people looking at you, and there were quite a few people there, and it was nice. So let me share my screen. Let's see what's up.
What language are you speaking in the video?
English.
Hey.
Yeah. There we are.
We actually had a comment from YouTube. Someone wants a Spanish translator on these, so
Oh.
Yo lo traduzco.
Yes. Got two already.
Real-
Got
real
an
time.
excellent question. Yeah. It is. Cool, man. So here is my session, right? Can you see it? I hope you can.
Yep.
Okay, so I master it in the end. This is like this is why it looks like a huge thing here, because I saw that the bass was too heavy and stuff. But this is how it looks. I think we're gonna go through the mastered one, and then we're gonna go through that because I don't want to bombard you with basses. And let's see if the sound quality will go through, and if not, I will just remind everyone that we have a link to that. People can hear it, so you don't need to be dependent on Zoom. So let's try it. Tell me if it sounds bad, and then I'll just stop it. Can you hear it?
Yeah. Too loud.
Right, and it's also warped. Let's kick the warp out. Is it loud?
Maybe we can try to check the link because it's not sounding like
Okay. So it sounds bad.
Floyd. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
So I think maybe Pedro, if you can.
Yeah, I will do it.
Would be a good idea.
Y para los de español está mostrando la versión masterizada de su track.
Red, traduce la explicación de David en español, por favor.
Vale, vale.
Oh, it's crashing on us.
Well, sounding super nice, man. Nice track.
Well,
The vibe
thanks.
is nice.
It's so fire that it just had
Yeah.
to shut down.
It crashes and burns.
It burned everything down.
And it burns, burns, burns. Thank you, Pedro. That was a nice one. Where's the horn?
Quack, 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 quack.
Ramp, 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 ramp. So,
That
if you
was
guys,
super nice.
Yeah, that was awesome.
so what I did, let's go to the nerdy stuff here. there is a part that you didn't hear where the djembe gets arpeggiated. Let's see if you can hear it there through the sounds here.
Ahí arpegió la muestra. Un arpegiador.
Can you hear it nicely, or that's the arpeggiated part here? Yeah, so that's the thing. And then we got a break here, which is quite the same. And then the ARP is getting even more crazy. Yeah, so if you want to see how I did it, go and watch 3.5 hours. So what I did, I like to prepare everything just in one scene. So I'm working, as if you will have the chance to see. It was many clips, and then I just like to have the main idea, this one, and just trigger with the push on off, and then decide what's coming when, and then I take it from there, and then I'm going to the more production process of cutting, adding stuff, doing some washes, and developing it. It was quite late in the night. This is why it sounds so dark and muffled and very, I don't know, cold in a sense. And I actually made two vibes. I made one, and then I said, you know what, let's make another one. And it went even deeper. And I'm glad I did it. So let's just go through the stuff. We have the kick. The kick, I guess it was resampling. And then I had it here again as resampled. EQ like everyone else. I was really trying to use only Ableton Live stuff. That's a snare. That's open hi-hat. Of course, making open hi-hat with vocoder is a cool thing. And this thing is actually the kick. It's a really nice trick. Maybe I can show you guys. Maybe you know it already. You take the kick. Let's make a 4 on the floor thing. Let's be educational for a second. Let's just take this thing, chop it. Try to make a 4 on the floor thing. Just make it here. Let's do it like that. So we have this thing. And if we take the reverb, thing, where is it? Reverbos. You can translate now to Spanish. Reverb.
Okay.
So I'm taking the reverb, putting it on the kick, going to the reverb here, and what we get is this thing. So you play with the pre-delay, you crank it up, and you get this thing. You take the size down a bit. On high.
Le puse un poquito de reverb al kick para que pueda tener ahí esa colita deliciosa.
Sounds even better in Spanish. And you do this. When you do this, you make it darker.
Y lo vuelves más oscuro con eso.
You say darker in Spanish.
Oscuro.
Oscuro, I like it. It's obscure, man.
Yeah.
So this is how you make a techno rumble. So the thing is, it creates itself on its own, right? And we really need to control this guy. So what I'm doing, I'm sending this to a return, and then I'm letting the return play that, and then I'm resampling the return, and then I'm not getting the kick. Was it understandable?
Yeah, lo mandó a un retorno y lo resampleó para poder ahí usar ahí eso como un kick sin usar el kick. Perfecto.
And then I open Max for Live and I just go home. No. And then I just resample it, have it here, and calling it a rumble. And this is that guy. And then I'm just trying to see what can I live without. So I made like, exactly. So in the end, what you hear is this. Just trying to, the way I work, I just add stuff and then I just try to get rid of everything I don't really need in order to try to leave space in this pile. And now we hear the other one, so I'll just click it. That's also a resampling of the bongo. And I also really like the sampled filters of the simpler and sampler and filter. But at that point, I saw that every time I crank it up, it's starting like to get really dirty, but not really nice dirty. So now here, that's the string, which I do with one of the devices I really like, which is Echo. I take it out. Nothing too fancy here. And the ARP, this is something I do a lot. I just put an ARP here, and I'm playing like one note or a chord, and then I'm recording the notes of the ARP to a dummy MIDI channel, and then I'm taking these notes, smashing them inside here. This is how it looks. And then I'm closing the arpeggiator, and then I'm getting this randomized thing. It started normal, then it's getting crazy. And it's the same chords as this. So of course you do it while changing the settings of the arpeggiator. This is how it sounds. When you so you just do that, and then you record it to a MIDI channel for half an hour, and then you bring it back until you find the best pieces of this wild thing. And then it's cool because it sounds random, and I don't think it's even in 4/4. It's 66 bars of just free arpeggiator, so it sounds a bit weird and wild. What we have here, I guess it's not so important. That's why I took it out. Yeah, and that's the only thing that left from the original sample. Yeah, I left it as is, as a term of respect to the original sample. Yeah, so that's it. That's
very nice, Roy.
Very
awesome.
nice, man.
Cool.
Awesome. So we're talking about what we're gonna do next time, and it's I love the ideas that are on the chat. Roy and I were talking about this, I think, a couple of days ago, and we were thinking, what if next time or in one of these sessions, it's like musical truth or dare sample challenge kind of thing where, like, for example, you know, we pass it back and forth, and I can say something like, you know, like we can see in each one of our little studios. So I can say, hey, Roy, pick up that guitar behind you and put something in a song, you know, and then or in a session, and he puts it in a session, and then he has 5 minutes to do that. And then it gets uploaded into Dropbox, and then he'll pick the next person. So maybe he says, hey, Laura, make a sample out of that, I don't know, black speaker behind you or something, you know, and you gotta take your microphone and smack it with something and create a sound, you know, and we just go round robin on that and see what we come up with.
It's a good idea.
That'd be fun. Or we could just do this kitchen thing that Marcello was talking about. That's a good idea too.
We could do both at different times. Or all together. No.
Really like the
Yeah, I'm up for
idea.
it.
I like both of those ideas, but I like the idea of doing one sample video.
Yeah, I've been experimenting with video, like the sample flip that I'm doing, and I'm just editing everything with the video. And it's kind of hard because Ableton Live is not that ready for video, but at the same time it's cool because the way you like double copy, cut, whatever you do to the audio, it's going on with the video as well. So it's a really cool effect.
It'd be a pretty much arrangement only, you know. So would session be cheating? All arranged.
Well, I guess you could work the sound and just add the video, just to, like
Isotonic
cutting the video.
Have one of those.
Wait, so explain. What are you talking about? This one sample video thing? What are you talking about?
Well, the one I'm doing. Yeah, the one I'm doing is not like one sample. I ask for samples for a lot of people, and I get like 40 samples and with video. So I'm doing the editing. So if I make it like twice the speed, the video is also going to be twice the speed.
Oh, I see. So the sample is in the video, and then you use the audio and the video at the same time in
exactly
as you're arranging it. Okay, cool.
Someone just about to recommend Isotonic Ebo Suite or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can use
what
it
is that?
in the session view that you can really trigger the videos, or like in the arrangement view.
Yeah.
Isotonic has the world collection, and then Ebo Suite's a different thing. Because there's Isotonic's video collection, there's Ebo, and then there's Video Sync as well. And there might be another other.
Well, Ebo Suite is distributed by Isotonic, I think is what he meant.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true. They do distribute that.
The web page. Actually, I have a lot of students in the university, and I put this kind of work like 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, and they make a lot of videos of his things. I'm gonna share with you his homework, their homework. It's gonna be funny.
Cool.
Maybe we should ask our audience what we should do.
Yeah, that would.
Hey,
yeah.
Anyone watching out there?
Spoken like a true business person.
Also, we have some questions and some comments. If we are all kind of wrapped with everyone playing, or is Richard going to play something?
Hey everyone, y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Or me?
Yeah.
A little bit, but.
Yeah. Well, I can share my stuff very quickly. Very simple. So my track, I only got this sample like on Thursday night. So I literally just put together just a couple things and didn't have much time to do it. So let's see if this will play. Caribbean vibe because I'm from the Caribbean. So yeah. Thank you.
Awesome.
I really hate that sound, but I love it at the same time.
Thank you.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I
God,
I
that
just wanna
sounded
bring
so
something-
good.
Thank you.
Really nice.
It
man.
sounded really good.
Thank you very
really
much.
good.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of get into these sounds because some of them are like, I thought stuff like hi-hats and snares would have been really easy for something like this, but man, I had to really, really go in and tweak and tweak. And as I said, I didn't have much time with it, so I just focus on these sounds and try to get them sounding as nice and as fat as possible. So like even to get like a proper fat kick, you know, of course the drum bus had to be in there. And I had to really tweak it. And I also did that thing where we sample from the silence, but it is the actual sample because it is there, but it's all the way down. So I use the MS2 and I tweak the frequency and pump up the resonance all the way. Yeah, so that's how I achieved my kick. I use the drum bus, set up the boom a little bit. Yeah, the squelch was a really nice sound to get. It's just like this weird kind of water drop sound. So I just thought that was kind of cool. The tom was so of course that was just the auto pan and the delay kind of working there. I didn't send it all the way up for the amount for the auto pan. I didn't want it to be like extreme, but I mean it's out there, so it's just creating some space around the head. So if someone is listening with headphones, especially, they'll get that surrounded feeling. Yeah, as I said, the snare was really something to kind of wrap my head around. But yeah, so drum bus is like on 100% there, and I had to tweak it around to make sure I get a nice sound. Low pluck. Yeah, so that's some automation going on there. So of course, just by automating this with the delays, it gives the sense of the movement. So whoever's listening to it, they'll be like, okay, yeah, I could kind of get into this and go on the journey, the musical journey that's there. I had some chords here, but I hated it, so I didn't use it in the actual final thing. Let's see, we have. Yeah, so that's just the chords by sample. Just a little one wave. The autopan, I use the autopan to give the effect of the sidechain. Always love doing this instead of like just literally doing the sidechain. Because when you just slap this on, set the rates, and you're good to go. This one was kind of cool, where I created this sound. Freeze and flatty, so some reverb action there. Let's see, the bass. Again, the autopan being used as the sidechain. The hats, yeah, I just found as though the hats were a little hard to tweak, but and then there's another one. So they kind of answer each other. So one is more like open, one is more closed. So they answer each other. And again, you get that kind of water splashy feeling. So it's not just like a straight hat. You get that kind of phased, kind of sound. Yeah, and that's all I had the time to get done. But this was a really cool challenge. I really enjoyed it, and I was so glad to be a part of it.
Awesome, man. Sound really good.
Yeah, I love it.
Good, great tones.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It's
Thank
good.
you.
Sounded really good, yeah.
I love the markers.
Breakdown
back.
and come. Yeah, breakdown, come back. You want more? Then there's a breakdown, and then we come back.
That's right.
Great.
Yeah.
Hey, do we have anyone else? No, right?
No, I
Christian.
I didn't
Oh,
do anything. Sorry, I was super busy this week.
And Laura, neither. Damn.
I know. I
Hey,
have no time.
do you guys think, what do you guys think our tracks look like, don't look like, do have something in common? How do you feel?
The what, sorry?
Do you feel like our tracks look alike somehow in some aspect of it? I feel like this, I don't know, maybe it's the noise behind the actual hit on the djembe. Because when you're compressing so much and doing so much processing, the noise, I think it really comes up. And I think I hear something in common in all our tracks and some instruments. There's like this grainy noise, this grainy texture. But yeah, it's amazing to see so many different possibilities. And I'm trying to catch like, what is there something in common? Is there something like that brings back to its sample origin?
Agree.
Tying it all together. Pedro's tying it all together. We're all one.
Yeah, there's probably some sort of DNA in there.
Exactly.
All right,
I also kind of get that when you don't get a proper loop in the classic mode, I always find as though if you don't get the edges to fade properly, I will get that straight across no matter what I'm doing if I'm sampling doing this method. But sometimes if you get the phase properly, it will not sound as the buzzy kind of sound.
Gotcha.
I feel, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but seeing you working, I didn't do anything because it was my birthday and I was like, sleeping all day. But the important thing to me is to achieve new ways of making things and expose myself to new stuff. For example, a new synth, or in this, for example, in this exercise, I will use something that I never have done before. So seeing you is like a lecture about all of the things, all of the path that I can go through. It's very stimulating. I'm going to do the same challenge before I just saw everything that you do, and I'm pretty sure that I'm going to do some different things and make a lot of new mistakes, but good ones.
We're gonna have to do the round of this one sample thing, because many cities sent stuff and wanted to take part, and the time wasn't right because I just posted this one like a few days ago. So maybe we can make another round with a different sample.
Is anyone else having trouble hearing him?
Me?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
All right. You hear me now? You hear me better?
Better.
Yeah.
Better.
I was writing that.
So I said that I think it will worthwhile to make another round of the one sample challenge, like to bring another sample and let other CTs that didn't have the chance to do it now to do it again with another sample, a different one.
Round 2.
How crazy will it be to make it online? For example, we connect and someone drop the sample and we have like 1 hour and we can, share our screen. That sounds too crazy.
Half an hour, maybe.
That's
right?
too much.
So we
That's
can.
too much.
That's too much. That's too crazy.
I thought about
Don't need any more anxiety.
making something like that, maybe to start like a few bars. Every one of us will make like 8 bars, and we have a Dropbox, so we just hit save, and we all have like 8 bars, and you have like 5 minutes to do it.
I think I like the idea of collaborating. So I think it was you, Roy. It's like something like Laura makes a sample, then someone else makes something with that sample, and try to build a track together. Would that be cool?
Yeah, that would be nice, right? To share.
So it's like 2 things at the same time: collaborating and flipping a sample.
Yeah, and we show it online while we're doing it every one of us who's opening and has the session, open and show it to the world. Like David is coming with his Max for Live patch and showing everyone how he's like patching it, moving it to you, Josh. Josh is doing something.
David is a tough act to follow, though.
Well,
Oh my.
He goes last.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
He'll take
messing
everything that
up.
we did and then turn it into something completely different.
Excuse me while I just.
do the hell out of it.
Save the cyborg shit for the end.
So Mitch, just share with you guys the video idea. I really want to try this isotonic thing with the video.
Yep.
I'm just doing it hardcore in live. Let me show you like a spoiler real fast. Right here.
Okay.
It's not done. It's definitely work in progress. So this is Christian's piano.
Woo! My
There it
Yeah,
piano.
he didn't send me a video, just a picture. So I made the picture into a video and just roll with it.
Sorry, man.
And it goes on.
It looks super cool.
You're ready for TikTok, man.
Manual cutting TikTok, yeah.
It's hard to do it, like to cut it.
Yeah, that
It's
was
hard.
The exam.
It's
that
hard.
was the exam for my students at the first partial of this semester.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice.
Have you tried video sync?
I've
used it a little bit.
I used it last night to make weird clouds with MIDI notes.
That video sync is from those guys from Amsterdam?
Show sync is the name of the.
They have both video sync and show sync, right?
Yes.
And how much does it cost anyway? Before I go on the trial.
Actually, ECTs have a license somewhere.
Yeah. We
Check your email.
Maybe because we're super fresh, but we
Yeah,
have
we need to
Yeah. Because I'm new.
Revive that
Cool.
thread.
I'll check it out.
we need
Cool.
an update list about our our goodies and stuff like
That's
that.
true.
It's
That's
super
true.
I know it gets buried with all the fire in the threads.
But we have a lot of good stuff.
You don't even know what we have.
Yeah, that mail must have been already from like last year or so.
Yes.
That makes me think of an idea with Siphon taking
Can't
the
hear you,
world.
Josh.
Can you hear me?
No.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
I said that makes me think of an idea of using Siphon to run World Collection in the Evo Suite into Video Sync, and then have them the best of all the worlds, and even visible too, and then have all the cool, unique things in each one of them in one video stream.
David.
It sounds like David now, man.
David.
Oh, stop it.
Who's got the fastest computer?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'll crash my computer doing it.
Right on. Well, guys, I actually have to jump. I mean, I could pass this over to someone else, but it'll stop live streaming. So if you guys want to keep going, but there were some comments and questions, and I just wanted to address. So Elliot, who is a friend of mine, does this beat cipher called Future Sound. It's every Saturday night, and he invited everyone in the chat to participate in it. And I did it a few weeks ago. They sent out like a a bunch of samples. It's like a whole beat tape, and you get to choose different samples from the beat tape and make a beat out of it. And then everyone gets on Zoom on Saturday evenings, Pacific Standard Time, or Pacific Daylight Time, to play their beats. So if you guys are interested in doing that, it's a fun time, and it's like people literally from all over the world. Like I was on and there was people from like South Africa, like it was awesome. So it's kind of like what
Thank
we've
you.
got going on here, but just different crew and really good cause. So yeah, check that out. And then there were some other questions earlier, actually from Michelle. She was saying she's struggling with monitoring her mix while playing instruments using her push and using microphones for voice. Would you recommend any wireless earphones so I can monitor but also move around freely?
Ooh, I guess Sennheiser is
Sennheiser, yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's what I use, Sennheiser wireless pack.
Yep.
I always say the cheap way, long cord, but that's for my stand-up days.
Yeah, I use a long cord in my studio.
Yeah, it's a good idea actually, right? An extension. So
Yeah. Okay, and then she also said, any advice on latency? I'm 128 buffer and it's not bad, but could be better. Oh, that's quite a
Wow.
yeah.
She's picky, huh?
Yeah, 128 is awesome.
yeah, actually, yeah.
Great.
Doing a direct monitor, that's always the best way to do it.
Do you guys use a lot of direct monitoring?
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm very usually putting some effects on it right on, so I have to listen to it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's main. Like when I'm recording, I'm direct monitor.
I try to put effects on my mixer. It's like similar to what's gonna be like a delay, a reverb, but it's on the hardware, and then I just add it in the project, right? Just to have
that's
the proper
good.
feeling. So you are playing because I don't know, a little bit of latency is enough to not being that comfortable, right?
I think that's the thing. If you're really detailed about the latency, probably getting a mixer, then you go in dry. But on your side, you have just a simple reverb, even if it's like a $20 more reverb or whatever you need. Just get a cheap mixer. Well, maybe not a cheap mixer because you want a good signal, but cheap effects that you could at least get the vibe.
Yep.
Yeah, and watch out for effects and stuff because there are many devices that create latency. You can see it in the session view, and underneath it says how much latency every plugin is taking.
Yeah.
Yeah, because maybe she's experiencing more than 128 buffer size latency. Maybe there's some other cause of it.
If you're using Nectar, you're for sure got a lot of latency.
Oh my god.
Yes, isotope products. Yeah.
Yeah, Matt Moldover uses that live, and I'm like, wow.
How does he do that?
His buffer's at 256.
Huh, even then.
Guess he just practiced, get used to it.
Worse is when you're trying to play drums. You get like
Oh no, that is the worst.
Worst thing ever. You really need to go to like 64 and it starts to crackle and crash. Everything is like
it's always horrible because I'm like, wait, I have good timing. It's not me, right? It's the computer. And I'm like, wait, is it me? But it's just this.
You need like really, really tight. I don't think it's like it exists even. The type of immediately.
Pedro and I was talking about like make the people slower so they don't notice the latency and just put something in the water and that's it.
That's the way, man. That's the way.
Drug the audience.
Yeah, so they don't actually see that there is latency. Make their brains lower.
Yeah, it's a whole other discussion, but that video that I posted in the other group of that band performing,
yeah.
I reached out to that guy. I friended him. He accepted my friend request on Facebook, and I messaged him, but he hasn't seen it yet. So I'm finding out.
Yeah, that we had to try that.
Yeah, I bet they just did some audio over IP. Maybe he got some like other equipment adapted, wrote some code. I don't know. That's my best guess. But I think they were really playing and listening to each other. like with
They were.
reasonable latency. I think that it was the real thing.
It was 20 milliseconds apparently.
Yeah, and like if they're like really close from each other, same city maybe, with everyone with good connections, and maybe Doug Hunt actually find a way. Yeah, it's possible.
David. No.
They were all in the UK. I don't know.
Because like every 100 kilometers, just the cable, it's gonna add up 1 millisecond of latency. So if you're like across the Atlantic, it's not gonna happen, even if it's a cable, fiber optic cable. So yeah, they have to be close and have good internet, and on top of that, they have to be using some audio over IP solution, like hardware maybe. Yeah, let's find out.
Maybe one of them works for like NBC Universal or one of these places that has the budget for it, and they're just using their work account.
Something like that.
Right on. Well, I gotta bounce. We've been on here for a while, so
It was nice.
yeah.
It was awesome.
Really nice.
Real fun.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Awesome.
showing up.
And so we'll just solidify, we'll figure out what we're doing next. I mean, like, I don't know which idea. There's a lot of ideas, but let's figure it
Let
out.
David give us a challenge.
Yeah,
Oh,
let's
that's
put it in
okay.
David's hand. Oh shit.
No. I was thinking about the kitchen thing. Wouldn't be if we record just one kitchen thing and pass it on to the next one who records another kitchen thing on the track. So we get. Are you following what I'm thinking about? So we get one kitchen appliance each on every track. So it will end up a number of tracks
With
with
Pedro's-
all of our kitchens in all of them.
Okay. That must be a big track.
Was that weird?
So video
Depends on
kitchen.
how many.
No, not
things
video. That will be hard this time. Oh, will it? Pedro will take that.
It's hard. It's kind of hard. It's fun at the same time, but it's kind of hard because you don't have many tools to cut the video. But yeah, it's still possible.
All right, well, let's get a proposal together, David.
Should I?
You were nominated.
You're nominated.
Oh, show us the creative brief.
Yeah.
I will sleep on it.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
See you
All
guys.
right. Well,
Thank
thanks
you.
everybody. Thanks, Roy.
All
for
right.
the sample challenge. Nice to see you guys as
They
always.
are amazing.
Y'all.
See you
See
next
you guys.
week.
Y'all. Good one.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
Peace.
Peace out.
Bye.